Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Tonight, we're diving into one of the most chilling and infamous haunted house cases in America. A place where whispers in the night, phantom laughter, and violent attacks have terrified all who dared to live within its walls. This is the story of the Sallie House and the terrifying experiences of the Pickman family. The legend begins back in the mid-1800s in Atchison, Kansas. One night, Dr. Charles Finney, a medical practitioner, was awakened by a frantic knock on his door. A woman stood outside holding her 6-year-old daughter in her arms. The girl was in unbearable pain. Dr. Finney quickly realized that her appendix was about to rupture. He rushed her into the basement, which doubled as his operating room. But in his haste, he gave her the wrong amount of anesthetic. The girl died screaming in agony on his table. This, according to legend, is the origin of the Sallie House haunting. But here's the thing, there is no record of a young girl named Sallie ever living or dying there. Dr. Finney did live in the house, yes, and his family owned it for decades. But Sallie herself, she might just be part of the folklore. Still, the experiences inside that house suggest that something very real is going on. Fast forward to the early 1990s, Tony and Deborah Pickman, a young couple expecting their first child, moved into 508 North 2nd Street. At first, life in the house seemed normal, but within weeks, things began to change. Lights flickered for no reason. The chains on the ceiling fans swung back and forth as if someone were flicking them. The baby cried endlessly in the nursery, but slept soundly anywhere else in the house. Their dog refused to enter the room, barking at something unseen. Then came the toys. One night, Tony noticed that 3 stuffed animals were arranged in a perfect circle on the nursery floor. He asked Deborah and her sister if they had moved. Them neither had. They put the toys back, turned off the lights, and went downstairs. Seconds later, the lights flicked back on. The toys were back on the floor. From that night forward, the strange activity only escalated. Tony would hear footsteps running up and down the stairs, but when he went to catch the culprit, there was nothing there. Once he felt a freezing gust of air pass right through him, followed by the unmistakable sound of a child's laughter. Objects moved on their own. Family photos were flipped upside down. Candles melted while still wrapped in plastic, marked with tiny handprints in the wax dot. And then came the scratches. Red marks appeared on Tony's body, sometimes bleeding, sometimes not. He also claimed to have been bitten, the teeth marks visible on his leg. This wasn't just mischievous activity anymore. It was becoming violent. Tony saw her tooth a little girl. He described her in old-fashioned white clothes, the kind a child might have worn to church a century earlier. She looked terrified. And then, as he watched in shock, he realized he could see right through her. Other times, Tony saw what he thought was Deborah walking down the hall. But when he followed her, she vanished into thin air. He swore it was her face, but dressed like a housemaid from another time. And not all the apparitions were so innocent. One night, Tony lay in bed when a shadow began forming at the window. Dust swirled in the air, gathering into the shape of a woman in black. She glided toward him as the drawers slammed open and shut, the bed rocking violently beneath him. She reached for his throat, hissing, "I'm gonna be for," disappearing. Whether it was sleep paralysis or something darker, the fear was very real. As the months went on, Tony's behavior began to change. He heard voices telling him terrible things. He dreamt of harming Deborah. At one point, he blacked out completely and later found their cat stabbed and pinned to the kitchen counter with a knife. To this day, Tony insists he doesn't remember doing it, but believes something inside that house pushed him to commit the act. Deborah, on the other hand, didn't experience these attacks. She felt drawn to the spirit, even comforted by the idea that the ghost of a little girl just wanted to be part of their family. Mediums they consulted claimed Sallie wanted to protect their baby, but for Tony, it felt far more sinister. Then came the breaking point. One night, Tony was thrown against the stair railing so hard that several rungs broke beneath him, as if something had tried to hurl him down the stairs. That was the final straw. Within weeks, the Pickmans moved out for good. But the story didn't end there. Future tenants reported strange markings in the basement, including a painted pentagram suggesting that others had tried to use the house for rituals. Paranormal shows, like Sightings and Ghost Adventures, investigated the home, capturing video and audio evidence of unexplained activity. Tony himself has returned multiple times, each visit leaving him scratched, bruised, or worse. Despite the danger, people keep going back, drawn to the Sallie House, like moths to a flame dot. So what really haunts the Sallie House? Is it the restless soul of a young girl, a darker, shape-shifting entity, pretending to be innocent? Or is it simply the human mind under extreme stress, conjuring horrors that feel real? Whatever the truth may be, one thing is certain: the Sallie House remains one of the most infamous haunted homes in America, and its mysteries are far from solved. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of America's most haunted locations, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss a new story. And let me know in the comments, would you dare spend a night inside the Sallie House?